Welcome back. Well, this week's video is very definitely a trip back in time, January 2022 to be precise, and it's a memorial trip to remember State Highway 25A, just pictured on screen. We're going to be riding it travelling from Hikuai to Kopu, which is around about 29 kilometres or so. And the reason I'm putting this one up is because State Highway 25A, which is kind of a key link to complete the Coromandel circuit and make things a little bit easier to get through to Whitianga, Whangamata, etc., is closed indefinitely on account of a massive slip that took place during the recent torrential record-breaking rains that we've had that have particularly laid havoc throughout the top of the North Island, particularly through Auckland, Coromandel, Northland as well, including loss of life, loss of property, loss of roading all over the place. And State Highway 25A is one of the big roading casualties. Now, the road itself, we're travelling in a westerly direction, so we're actually returning back from Whangamata. And on this day, you'll probably notice that there's quite a few motorbikes on the road. That's because this was filmed on the weekend of the Kickdown Festival, the inaugural Kickdown Festival, which was a motorbike and musical festival held in Whangamata. Now, we'd ridden down, I think this was on a Friday, we rode down very early on the Friday morning to Whangamata, checked in for the day pass only. We did the Coromandel loop, we took lunch in Coromandel, rode the loop in a anti-clockwise direction from Whangamata up through to Coromandel, stopped there for our lunch, had a great time there, and then continued the loop coming back through Kopu and up the 25A to cut back through to Whangamata to complete the ride. Now, we'd done all that, we'd checked into the Kickdown Festival area, and then we were making our way back to Auckland. This is the ride back, and I've seemed to have almost all of the road in there, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to remember what once was. So, what are the reasons that the road is a total loss, at least until they can rebuild it, and the engineers are scratching their heads now. Hopefully they'll have a solution, but I think they're telling us don't expect anything to happen too soon, because the road itself winds its way through some pretty hilly terrain. And there's no side roads anywhere along this route, so if the road is broken at any point, well, that's a big problem, and you've got to turn around and go back. There's no other alternative that you can just turn off somewhere and zigzag your way through to get to your destination, whether that be Kopu or Hikuai. And the problem that's happened is that near the summit of this road, there's been a slip that, it's still losing ground now, that has completely taken out the entire road. Quite some big chunk. I have got some photos at the end of this video that I've lifted up from various news sources and on the web, which if you haven't seen it, you can see that and get an idea of the scale of the problem. But as I said, there's no side roads or alternate routes along this road. Once you're on it, you're from start to finish. You've got to get to the other end, and if you cannot do that, then the road is useless, so you really have to stay off it, and that's what they've done. They've closed the road until further notice. Just an act of necessity, really. Now, I haven't seen the aerial photos to really get a proper gauge of whereabouts this problem area is, but I do believe it's coming up, and I'll try and signal it when when we come up to it. It's around about the 5-minute mark, I think, and at that point you'll be able to go back and have a look. I'll put some chapter markers in so you can skip between the photographs at the end and the actual road as it once was, and you'll see quite the change that's come about. Now, the area of the road that's washed away is, I believe, the next section coming up here, with guardrails on both sides, the left and right of the road. This is a total loss right here. The whole thing has been swept away down the hillside. Now there's nothing but a hole completely where all of this section of the road is. and we'll be able to see that and compare when we see the photographs at the end of the video. So pretty sad, because this is as well as being a very convenient road, it's a very picturesque road. It's a really great ride, great drive, and it provides a very easy access to great parts of the Pacific coast of the Coromandel Peninsula. So it's going to be sadly missed during the time that it's out of action. I do hope that that they do manage to find a solution and get some kind of roading operation happening here before the end of the year, but we're told not to hold our breath. So fingers crossed, we'll just have to wait and see. Now, of course, the section that has been totally washed away there with that slip is probably not the only area of the road that was compromised. This road has had some problems over the last year or two with being undermined by water that's rolling underneath the road, so causing some kind of road subsidence. The seal is, the cracks appearing and whatnot. So I don't know how big of a job this is. I'm glad I'm not an engineer, because they've got their work cut out all over the country at the moment to try and get the roading network back into some kind of shape that's going to last through the next big rains. And I suppose that we're going to see a whole lot more of monsoon style weather as the years pass and climate change seems to take its effect. What can I say? Anyway, getting back to the road itself, we're starting to emerge out of the hills now and get onto the flat, which is going to take us along up to the intersection very near Kopu, where Highway 25A joins once again back onto State Highway 25, and that is the only operational road at the moment. So to get round to Whangamata, you have to go around the long way through the top or down through Waihi Karangahaki Gorge, and hopefully the gorge is open, because that also had some rain troubles. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it this week. Ride safe out there, take care, see you on the next one.